All right, folks, today's a very exciting day. Today is pump day. By pump day, I mean the pump truck is here because we are pouring the foundation here at French Street. Already gone through a truckload prior to this one showing up. Been here for a couple hours. A lot of concrete being poured in all these footings and piers. As you can see, they've only worked their way around probably about a third of the entire foundation, but front part's practically done. Still have some filling to do in some areas around the piers and footings, but definitely making progress. And it is a big, big day, so stay tuned. So tell me, what is this for?
This is for the blocks. Every 2 layers for the push of them more stronger.
Every 2 layers? Yeah.
Yeah, every 2 layers, like a Rebar.
That's cool. Yeah, I saw them putting it. Yeah, actually, I could see it right here. Yep. So Mike thought he was funny taking his shirt off while he filmed me. So now these guys put him to work. That's great. But if you see this right here, this is how we've been unloading 5,000 blocks down into this foundation area. Rapido, rapido. Alright guys, I thought it'd be good to give you an update on what we're doing so far at this stage in the foundation work. So it's been a very fast process, but at the same time very slow because there's a lot of detail, and I thought while everything was still exposed that I could talk you through it a little bit. So for starters, we have a 12-inch block that we're putting throughout the perimeter of the foundation, also the interior. This is different from 8-inch blocks, so it's a lot thicker, a lot heavier. So there's that. And then what else could I tell you? So if you turn and look, so you see this wall that they're laying the block on. That's the top height of the ceiling of this foundation. But if you go to this wall, you see how it's 2 blocks lower. And the reason why it's 2 blocks lower is because we have to put a special block on top. And I'm going to explain that to you in a minute. But basically, what we're going to do with all these exterior walls is they're all going to get filled with concrete. And then once they're filled with concrete, we have to put these special blocks on top, 2 layers, and each one of those blocks get filled with rebar and concrete. So let me show you that right now. All right, so this is the special kind of block I was talking about. So if you zoom in here, you'll see that there's a bottom. So the idea, and these have slits in them, the idea is that you put rebar through here. And in this case, we have to put 2 pieces of rebar, one on the bottom, one on the top, and then we fill it with concrete. And then once we fill that, we're going to put another block on top, and we're going to do the exact same thing. So these 2 layers of block are going to go on all the exterior walls of the foundation. Not every exterior wall, but on the sides of the building, they're going to go on there. And the reason why is because on the plans, once we do that, we then have to bolt. We have to put a ledger board on the wall. So I'm a visual guy. Let me show you. I'm not going to step here though. Let's go over here. So they have to put a piece of wood on the wall and bolt it with 2 bolts and then shoot epoxy into each hole to hold the ledger board. And then once they do that, we're going to be able to attach the trusses for this whole building to that ledger board. So that's why the top 2 blocks have to be filled with solid concrete. Otherwise, what's going to hold the bolts? So that's been a detail. It takes a lot of time, and plus those blocks are kind of special order. So we're here waiting for the blocks, but there's still a lot of other stuff to do. right, so we started doing some backfill. Looks nice and clean. And I want to show you guys the rebar here on these upper two blocks. You see, this is really thick rebar, and you can see it goes 2 blocks down. And the reason why is because these top 2 blocks, we're gonna need to put pins in them. So all these block walls are gonna get filled with concrete. Once they get filled, we'll be able to put ledger board up and put the thread rods in, fill them with epoxy, and the ledger board will go up in the basement, and then we'll be able to install the trusses in the basement. So we're close. We're doing backfill. We're battling with the weather right now, which it's just been killer on this project. We basically get to work maybe 3 days a week. So after today, this week, the rest of the week is calling for rain. But what can I do? Hey guys, we're back again at 213 French Street, and we are wrapping up the foundation component of the build. And I want to catch you guys up to speed with what's been going on, because a lot's been going on these last couple months, and it's been a lot. So, what do you need from me? What do you need? Hey guys, we're back again at 213 French Street, and we are wrapping up the foundation component of the build. And I want to catch you guys up to speed with what's been going on, because a lot's been going on these last couple months, and it's been a lot. So like I was saying, there's a lot that's been happening on this site with the foundation. I want to kind of take you guys through it and explain it, because a lot of people think this stuff is easy, and there's so many details that go into this. You're not on top of it, you're going to miss stuff. So where to begin? I think I took you guys through the footers, and if you could kind of see in the background, you could kind of see a little bit of what's left of them. Okay, because now the block wall has been set on the footers. This is 12-inch block wall that we had to put as per the plans. Sometimes you'll see 8-inch block, we had to do 12. And so basically what we had to do is we had to build around the entire perimeter of the foundation with 12-inch high CMU block. Now, bring the camera back this way. I'm 6'4", guys, so show how high up this wall is. So this wall, I think is almost like pretty close to 10 feet. Because on the drawings, we have 18-inch trusses that are gonna be flush with the top of the wall, so they're gonna come down somewhere around like here, okay? And then there's gonna be 5 inches of concrete for the slab. So we had to do 12 inches of block wall. Now, in the block wall, the top 2 blocks, we had to put rebar running horizontally through the blocks, which we'll show you in a minute. But so this took a lot of time and effort. Now let me bring you over here. This is a great example. We had 17 piers that we had to form, okay? And what my mason decided to do, which was really smart, is we put up the block wall first, and then we poured the piers later on. And the reason why we did that is because the piers, you could kind of see the form of them. As the concrete came in, it also filled in all the blocks and made everything nice and tight. So we had to do 17 piers, and I'll show you the top of them. And then we also had to do all the block wall that you see here. All right, so let me talk to you a little bit more about the rebar that we had to put in the top 2 of these blocks. So there's a little bit extra left over, but basically, in a nutshell, just so you can understand as a visual, the top 2 blocks, we had rebar basically going like this and then tied together. And this was done to reinforce the top 2 blocks. The reason being because, let me grab another piece of, basically, now it's gonna be an LVL, but we're gonna have a ledger board attached like this to the side of all these walls with bolts drilled in them, and the bolts will go into the concrete and then be filled with epoxy. So the rebar that we set on the top 2 blocks was to make everything very strong. So that was a detail that took some time, because number 1, those blocks were special order. So we decided to kind of make those blocks. And number 2 was a lot of work, because if you think about it, we had to pour all the walls, and then we had to set those blocks with the rebar and kind of pour that. And now I'm thinking about it, I don't know if we poured the whole thing all at once, but either way, it was time consuming. So that was another detail that took some time. The other thing is, if you see behind me all the rebar poking out, yes, I know it's supposed to have like the orange caps on it for safety, but let's pretend it does for this video. A lot of this rebar goes all the way down to basically the bottom of the foundation, and this is also to make the wall very strong. So if you ask me, it may have been a little bit of over designing, but we're following the plans, and that's what the plans called for. So the other thing that I have to explain to you is, even though it looks like we're done with block, we still have more block to add. So let me explain. Come. So by code, when you build a wall, it's got to be at least 8 inches above grade. Grade is basically going to be right here. These are 8-inch block. These are 8-inch high block, okay? They're 8 by 8. So the plans called for us setting 8-inch block on top of the 12-inch block. But we had to also put rebar in the exterior walls. That's why you see all this rebar poking out, because we want to make sure this block and the exterior foundation block tie together, right? Otherwise, like when we pour this, there's nothing really holding the bottom of the wall of the building, if that makes any sense. So along the perimeter of this building, we're gonna have 8-inch blocks. Some is only 1 block high. And then if you zoom across, you can see that's 4 blocks high. And so you might ask yourself, well, like, okay, why is it 1 block high on this side and 4 blocks high on this side? Well, let me show you, come here. So it's 4 blocks high on this side because look where grade is. Grade is basically right here. And it goes even higher up as you get a little further back. So we have to put the block this high. And as you can see, we're not done tarring it. We backfilled a little bit. We're gonna backfill more once we get the trusses installed. So every side of this building, the blocks are a different height. This is 4 blocks, that's 1 block, the rear is 2 blocks. So as you can see, it's a lot of details. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is this monster piece of steel. So in the plans, it called for us installing 3 bolts on each side, as you can see here, with epoxy, a strong epoxy. It's bolted to this pier. Now in this pier, they cut it off, but there is 9 pieces of rebar coming up. So this pier is very strong. But talking with the steel installer and just my own feeling, we decided to add another post below just for peace of mind, honestly. And what I will tell you guys, just because they have measurements on the plans, that doesn't mean everything is exactly accurate. So this was a challenge, lining up exactly where the post is supposed to be. So in a nutshell, I learned a lot about CMU block and steel. I don't think I would ever do a basement again unless it's for parking or it's being finished. So this basement's right now unfinished. This side is for a commercial tenant. Maybe they'll finish it in the future. They probably will, or it will be for storage. But between the excavation and the aggravation, it was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun though. So I'm really excited to start doing framing. We're getting the trusses in about a week. And the framing is gonna take a long time too, because there's a lot more steel than what you see right now. And I'll share that with you on the next video. So the framing's probably gonna take 1 to 2 months if I had to guess, because there's a lot of detail. But that's okay, because once we frame it, and once we get this bad boy dried in, then me and my brother are gonna blow through this thing and have this thing ready to go. So very excited to continue to share the progress with you guys. I appreciate you following. If you have any questions, drop a comment. Happy to answer it, and I'll see you guys on the next video.